Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to day three of Softball America's Big Ten Media Days. And I'm thrilled that we're coming in all the way from Iowa, and we're starting off our morning with head coach Brian Levin. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Excited.
And we were just chatting a little bit before this began, but obviously sending our very best to Coach Renee and wishing her all the best recovery in her health. But what has this meant to you? I mean, you came to this program in 2022, but to now be leading it and being at the helm of Iowa.
Yeah, I've got a lot of congratulations for being promoted to an interim position, but under the circumstances it's kind of hard to accept that. I mean, it's tough to see. We all think of Coach G and
Yeah.
praying that things are going well for her, but I think, my job I think now is to really try to focus on getting our team ready to play for the season because it's been a short notice and a short turnaround for sure, but you know just blessed to have the opportunity that the Beth, our AD, and the administration has a lot of confidence in me to continue moving the program in a positive direction.
And coach, I believe they had all the confidence because you know these players so well. And I'm excited to talk about this squad here today because you returned a lot of players, only graduated three, and then you add in 7 first years into the mix. Can you first start with how this fall has been bringing back so many experienced players?
Yeah, it's been great. We've had five seniors, that we have back. A couple of them are battling injuries, but their leadership has been really, really exceptional. And we need that. We need that from the seniors. We need that from the juniors. We've got a very young team, 7, 8 freshmen, 6, 7 sophomores. So, when over half of your team's underclassmen, there's a need for leadership and a need for them to, kind of set the example for how the program's going to move forward and set the bar high, have high expectations, and they're doing a really good job of that.
One thing I loved that you said about this first year class, kind of earlier in the year, is how much they've pushed even your returners. And I know you have a lot of players who even have the opportunity to start. For you, what is it like to have that type of talent come in right away?
Yeah, it's fun to see, for sure. I think we always preach to the kids about competing with each other instead of against each other, right? So I think they're pushing each other in that way because whenever if you come in and you feel like you're battling for a position, if both of you are competing with each other, then you never have any ill will towards the person you're competing with, right? So
Exactly.
when that happens, it just makes everyone better and makes the team better. So I think the competition amongst the players has been very high, and I think that's going to pay off in the long run for sure.
And one thing I'm really looking forward to is this pitching staff because you bring back all of your arms and then you add in two. And while we're on the first years, I want to talk about even just Sophia Elliott, who you said has been throwing really well this fall. How much are you looking forward to her being able to step into the mound as well? And what do you like about her game?
Yeah, Sophia's a difficult pitcher in terms of her deception. Um, she's not an overpowering pitcher, but spins the ball decently. Um, she's been in a program with the Thunderbolts there out of Alabama that she's played in really high pressure and high stake games. So she's pushing our upper class pitchers as well. So she's done a really good job this fall, and we're looking forward to seeing how she does. That biggest level they're going to go from is from travel ball into college ball. So we'll see how that relates whenever she gets into game situations. But she's doing a good job this spring.
And I'm looking forward to watching her. And kind of one other face I'm excited about is Brianna Johnson. And I know it's hard to fill the shoes of Diaz, who you had at first base, but I know she's a potential option for you guys to do so. How have you been impressed with her?
You know, Bree's ability is very good, but her work ethic and the way she go about everyday practice, I mean, she never takes a rep off. And as a freshman, being and setting an example just as a young person like that, it's pretty incredible. It's kind of inspiring to other players as well. But like I tell the team, there's no there's no substitution for relentless work ethic, and she certainly has it. So when you work hard, things usually turn out pretty good. So we're hoping that's the case with Bree.
Then we go to your returners because, like I said, you guys only lost 3 people, but you're bringing back what I think is some huge bats, and every you're adding in the 2 extra arms. But just even going to some of your returners, I want to talk about Jenna Young because she was one of the most talented freshmen in the nation last year. I was impressed by her poise watching her every time she took the field for you guys. How much has she continued to grow in this off season, and what should we look forward to seeing with her game?
Yeah, I think you're going to see her even blossom more. She's a hard worker as well. I mean, she's in the cage constantly. She's a cage rat, and her mentality and mindset is all softball. So those are the type of people that you want that are just obsessed by the game. She certainly is, and it kind of spreads throughout the team, especially again from a young person taking that type of role. So I feel like she's just going to continue to get better. Her development's getting better every year. She's hitting the ball better, I think, coming into the spring now than she was after last season. So I'm excited to see what she does.
And what's special about her is she's a former Iowa Gatorade Player of the Year, and you guys have done a great job at retaining some of this Iowa softball talent. How much of a priority is that for you as a coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, you never want to let people out of your backyard, so to speak, right? So, it's happened a couple times here and there, but we got back-to-back Gatorade Players of the Year and Jenna Young and Jalen Adams. So, and Jalen's kind of the backbone of our pitching staff. So that's it's fun to have that in the circle, an Iowa kid, and it's important to always we try to make that a priority for sure. Going to try to get kids in Iowa that most of them dream to play to be a Hawkeye. So that's something that we try to make those dreams come true in a sense, I guess, so to speak.
It's making so many dreams come true. And I know hitting has always been your guys' strengths and just your ability to be able to hit up and down the lineup. I know one kind of point of emphasis you guys wanted to have this season was within the circle. How have you seen just every single pitcher kind of work to elevate their game coming into this year?
Yeah, I mean that starts again with Jalen.
Mhm.
She's kind of sets the tone for the pitching staff. You're not going to find another harder worker. She's that's kind of a theme of the team this year. It really is, and she does a really good job of setting an example. She'll throw her bullpens and then go throw more on her own. So I don't know how she does it. My arm would fall off, but and sometimes you worry about that overwork, as a coach. But she does things on her own, constantly working hard at it. We got Jaylee Ojo, who's coming off an injury that hopefully, she can get back to 100%, because I think if she does, she's really going to have a pretty tremendous season. Just an incredible. She's a pretty hard thrower, but also has an incredible off-speed changeup that keeps hitters off balance. And unfortunately, we had a couple of our pitchers in Devin Greer and Haley Down right now that are both injured, facing some injury problems that we hopefully can get. As a matter of fact, Devin had to go out on a medical retirement. She's actually out of the game now, but which was unfortunate. And then, but Haley's had a lower leg injury. Hope to get her back really, really quickly. But those are kind of the girls that are coming back that had most of the innings for us last year. And then, Andy has done a pretty good job. She's done a really good job in the spring here. And then, like you said, we got a couple of freshmen in Sophia, Talia, Trenton that I think are going to do great for us. So it's exciting. I think our pitching staff's going to round out to be pretty good.
Well, first, my sadness about Devin and wishing her the best and just being able to manage that right now in injury. But I love the way you talk about your team and just what a hardworking group of women that they are. And I would love to know more about this DNA of this group. Like, what makes them special and unique heading into this season, do you think?
I've been around teams my whole life, whether from a military standpoint or athletic standpoint. I would have to say this is probably one of the most close-knit kids that, our central core values are love, serve, and care. And they truly do love and care about each other. I mean, if one person's going out to do something, they invite everyone. It's really a special environment. And I haven't really been around it to this extent that you see here, but I also have to tell them that, you can love each other to the core, but you also have to hold each other accountable. Right. So one without the other doesn't work. And I think they're learning that, and they're doing a really good job of it.
And that's something that every coach hopes for, but it's really hard you can't force, right, the women to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
How has that just like blossomed over time? Has there been an emphasis on team bonding? Is it something that the women have just taken upon themselves off the field?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is they do that on their own. They just genuinely like each other, and you're not always going to get that in a team. I talked to them about the 4 stages of team building and the forming, storming, norming, and performing stages, right? And some teams never get out of that storming phase, but learning to understand each other, be around each other more. They do a lot of that. Put your phones away, talk to each other. And you start to learn what pushes each other's buttons, and that coming from Northwestern, you guys had a great culture there. So I mean,
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just a matter of them being a part of that, and we try to emphasize it as a coaching staff. We'll put together some, team bonding activities. They've done some things this year. They've been over to my house a couple times, so we try to make it so that they're around each other quite a bit.
I love that. And I'll tell you the same thing I told my coaches then. It's you guys just do the great job recruiting my best friends and their best friends. So
Right.
that's really on you guys. But coach, as you guys are getting ready to head into Clearwater, I mean, you're facing fantastic talent right away. I mean, just looking at your schedule, you have Tennessee, you have Texas Tech. You're going to know right away where you guys land. But what is really just your hope in opening weekend, but just the season overall for this group?
Yeah, I mean, we really, again, try to preach to them from a coaching staff standpoint that we're really never playing opponents. We're always playing against the game.
Yeah.
Right. There's 7 ways to beat the game, and we enforce those constantly with them. And if we can usually come on top in those 7 different categories, then when you look at the scoreboard, you're usually ahead. So, and we really don't try to, emphasize the team that we're playing, but more so the things that we need to do to have our best showing, our best outcome.
I love that. And as we get ready to switch it on to the players, I would love to just talk about the 2 of them with you before we get to speak to them, and just Tatiana and Jalen and what they bring to your team.
Yeah, they're both part of our leadership council. They're incredible examples, young women that people can look up to, our younger players. And Tatiana's more of a vocal type leader. She's pretty exuberant, bubbly. We have a lot of fun with her. She's fun to be around. She's a hard worker. We're looking for some really great things from her as well as Jalen. Jalen's more of a quiet. I call her stone cold. She's more of a quiet type leader, but when she gives you that look, she means business type of person. So they both complement each other in great ways, and they're just great young women. They're fun to be around.
Well, I love that, Coach. I'm looking forward to talking with him, but thank you so much for your time today, and best of luck this season.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And you can go bring in the girls. I'm sure they're waiting at the door.
Yeah, they are.
Thank you, Coach. Well, welcome back.
Hi.
Hello.
How great was that? Just to hear all the compliments too from Coach. It's like
I was
free
like,
pat
thank
on the
you,
back
thank
tag. I love it. Well, ladies, it is almost game day. How are you guys feeling as it gets closer and closer?
I think especially coming back from Christmas break, we've just been working really hard. And obviously it's really exciting to play your first game, but I think it's seeing all the hard work pay off. I think that's what we're super excited for. And again, what Coach Lev reiterated, we're all super close. So we're just all excited to see each other flourish on the field.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I just think we've been for sure putting in the work, putting in the hours, giving the effort. And I think we're all just kind of ready to go show what we have. So, yeah.
What I loved most about when I was talking to Coach is he talked about what a close knit you guys were. And that's something that you've really taken on yourself, that you guys just enjoy being around with one another. How have those relationships fostered?
I feel like we genuinely just choose to hang out with one another outside of softball too. And then it just so happens that we're spending 30 plus hours a week with each other. So I just think that those relationships continue to flourish, especially when you're, competing with each other every day. I think that being able to have that competitive spirit, but then also come off the field and have each other's backs, I think that's really what makes those relationships so strong.
And what do
Yeah.
you guys love to do together, even off the field?
We literally will just like go watch movies at each other's house. A lot of us live in the same apartment complex, so we'll just like drop by and like talk about practice. Like it's just like we find any excuse to hang out with each other. It doesn't even matter what we're doing.
Or like even the freshmen, I'm really close with a few of them, and I'll just pick them up on the way to practice. And whether that's stopping and grabbing a coffee before or going to get dinner or something after, we just make time for each other.
Let's talk about these freshmen because you brought in 7 new faces. And from everything I've heard, they're bringing a lot of energy to this team. What has this group been like?
It's always like exciting to bring in new faces to, uplift the team. And they've just been like an awesome group. Really refreshing. They're hardworking, they're positive, and they're just like fun to be around. So yeah, I mean, being such a close knit team, you hope that you have, good additions, and they've been nothing short of that. So it's just exciting to see, them add on to the team, and we're excited to see how far they can go, and then obviously, become leaders of this team and change the program. So yeah, it's super exciting.
And even just talking about being leaders, I mean, both of you now as upperclassmen, which is unbelievable how fast time goes that way. But as you guys are, really in spots to mold this program, where do you want to take Iowa softball? Like, what is the narrative you guys really want to set around this program?
I think that everything we have is truly like from love. Like our love from one another really has carried us a long way. And yeah, like the wins and losses, like those are just kind of a product of how we perform that day. But I think being able to wake up every morning and be so excited about like the sport you chose, the school you chose to go to, and the people that you're surrounded with is just like super important. And I'm really grateful that I'm able to experience that.
I love that. And let's talk about just both of your guys' games because you're incredibly talented athletes. Tatiana, I want to start with you and just first of all, your experience at playing not only the highest level in college, but also in the world. Just your ability to play on national teams, to play internationally. How much do you feel like that experience has helped you succeed at the college softball level?
Honestly, I just feel like it's just like my teammates that teach me everything. Even playing with like Puerto Rico, I've like had my like teammates just teach me, like it's not about you, it's about the people around you, it's about the people that support you, your fans, your coaches, like so it's just like learning from those experiences and bringing it back to Iowa. But I'm just super grateful to have those mentors, have my coaches here at Iowa and Puerto Rico, my teammates. It's been like a life-changing experience, and I always feel the endless support like from this end at Iowa whenever I play, and it's awesome.
There is one moment I want to ask about just as you're playing for Team Puerto Rico is when you won the gold medal in El Salvador in the 2023, Central American Caribbean Games. What was that like for you?
It's something I've never experienced before. It's just like a lot of emotions. You feel grateful to be in that moment. And the biggest thing is I'm grateful to represent like that small little island, and it's just a moment where it's bigger than yourself, and you're just grateful to put on that jersey and win that for the people that like love to watch you play.
Ugh, I can't even imagine. And I love that you mentioned how much you feel that support of Iowa, even when you're going and playing in those games. And Jalen, for you, when I look back at last season, the way you just put that team on your shoulders and kept going, I swear, until your arm was probably going to fall off, just shy of like 160 innings. This, the second closest to you was 55 innings pitched. For you, like what kept you pushing in those moments, saying, I want the ball over and over?
I think another huge part of our team is how we serve one another. And I think every time I step out on the mound, it's always what can I do for my teammates, because they always show up for me every day. They play an amazing defense behind me. Even the people in the dugout, like when I'm pitching, I can hear them just because obviously we're all so close. And I think just knowing that I am able to go out there and perform because of the people around me is just something that I'm super grateful for. And that's kind of what keeps me excited and keeps me going.
And what's really fun about your pitching staff is you guys returned everybody and added 2 arms. What has that been like just in the bullpen for you, having everyone back and it's time to just continue to grow our game, but you didn't lose anything?
Yeah, I think Coach Carl has been a really great addition. We are so grateful to have him. And I just think from an IQ standpoint, I have grown so much as a pitcher. And I think all of us collectively, we are asking each other questions. We're talking through different situations, and we're all just becoming better with mechanics, with our awareness on the field together as a group. And I think that's been really important, is that we know it's all of us together versus the game. It's not who's going to pitch better this day, who's going to get to go on the mound. So I really think just having that team aspect just within the pitching staff too has been really huge.
And you gave kudos to your coaching staff, and I want to talk a little bit more about just Coach Levin stepping up and being put in that interim position. What has it been like for as a team to keep a familiar face in house to be elevated?
Well, I feel like me and Toddy and the rest of the junior class are in a very good position where he has been like here as long as us. So although he's new to this position, we know that he has a ton of experience. And Coach G has always like been, obviously with the head coach, you have a ton of responsibilities. So we've had a lot of interactions with Coach Lev, and we were very comfortable with him from the get-go. So I feel like the transition was pretty smooth, and it's exactly what we needed. So, yeah.
And he even mentioned having you guys over to his house some nights. Can you tell me about like what that has looked like and how much that means to you to be in his home, getting even closer with him?
Yeah, it's super fun. We like watch Wicked. We do like TikTok trends. It's awesome to have like a close relationship with your coach, because it's not only about softball for him. It's about creating relationships on and off the field. And that's like what is so like amazing is, he cares about us like when we're at home. Like he'll text us on break, like, how are you doing outside of softball? So it's just not all about that. So, we feel comfortable, and, we know that he has confidence in us.
That's what it's about, building that just family within a team. And I do have one question. Have you gotten him in a TikTok?
We have.
Yeah.
We just did one like a couple weeks ago, and it was super funny. It was like guessing which voice is who.
Oh yes. How did he do?
He did okay.
He did okay. Our athletic trainer did a little bit better because she sees us a lot.
That's so funny. I love it. She's used to everybody talking in the training room.
Yes.
Well, I was talking with Coach a little bit before, just even about your opening weekend. When I look at your schedule, you could look at it one way of challenges, but I see it as opportunities to where you guys really match up against some of the best in the country. What has those conversations been like as a team and just your schedule of opening weekend?
I feel like my freshman year and Toddy's sophomore year, we got the chance to go to a tournament and play UCLA. And I got to pitch in that game as a freshman, and a lot of my class got to play as freshmen too. And we held our own, and I feel like that experience really just showed us like we're in this, like we can go up against these tough teams and compete and do really well. And I think we've just been using these big names to motivate us to just kind of show up and play our game and show them what we have. I think not worrying so much about who we're playing, but how we can play our best has been a really big part of keeping us motivated and on the right track.
This group has been labeled as a hardworking group. From the players' perspective, what do you think makes this team really special and unique?
I think it just goes back to us all wanting to play for each other and like serving each other, like she said. Like, I know that I can trust her because I see that she works hard and vice versa with everybody on the team. So I think it's just like creating that trust and that bond that when we get on the field, we know that everybody's worked hard, everybody's put in that work. Yeah, and like ultimately we're at the top of our game at that point.
Yeah. And one thing these media days have been used to celebrate is how this conference is growing. And I love that you mentioned UCLA because now they're in the conference. Like that's what's so exciting. And you guys have the opportunity to host them this season at your home. The picture behind you, that's what it's going to look like. I'm sure it's going to be packed. I hope I'm on that game. But for you guys, what is it like knowing this conference is now getting national attention and you get to host somebody like UCLA?
I think I'm from Iowa. I've lived here my whole life, and I've always wanted to be a Hawkeye. I knew from the day I started playing softball that this is where I wanted to come. I think just being able to perform and have people close to home really kind of just get a glimpse of what we truly do in a day and how big our game really is and how much it's growing is really cool. And I'm really excited for that opportunity.
I love it. Well, as we wrap up, I want you both to have the opportunity of why should people come out and watch your team? Why should they tune in? Why Iowa softball for both of you?
I don't know. I think when you think of Iowa, you think of like super small town, and that's just like me being from California. But like when you come here, it's something that you don't ever expect. Just the people are amazing here. Just like the fans to the staff to the coaching to every little like detail here at Iowa is amazing. And just coming here is just something I can't really describe. It feels like a home away from home. And I think people need to experience that. It's so awesome. And yeah, like we've all said, we've been putting in the work and I'm just excited for everybody to see where we're at now. And I'm really proud of our team. I'm proud of everybody, the coaches, us, everybody. So it's super exciting to get going and we can't wait.
Yeah, I would honestly just agree with that. I think comparative to last season, it's people are going to be curious of how we're going to turn it around. And I think us both as team, like on the leadership council, we've been really working hard from a leadership perspective, and our teammates have been so amazing at giving that work ethic back and making sure that we're all holding each other accountable. And I'm just really excited to show everyone what Iowa softball is going to bring this spring.
Well, I personally can't wait to watch, especially when you hear about the chemistry and the culture that you guys are building there at Iowa. But Tatiana, Jalen, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
And for everyone who's been tuning in, this has been Iowa Softball, and you can stay with us the rest of the day. We have one more later today. We have Minnesota Softball coming on, but feel free to subscribe at softballamerica.com/softball. Go back and watch all the other interviews that we've had the last 2 days. From Sydney Supley, once again, Iowa Softball, thank you for tuning in.